ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans and pets alike. Doesn't matter what creature you are, as long as you're on this planet, you can watch the Mobile Mayhem North America Wild Rift Tournament Season 1. And make sure to share the stream with your friends. Make sure to hit follow, subscribe, follow everybody on social medias, Mobile Mayhem, as well as our lovely, sexy, and charming Tasty Bacon. How are you doing, Tasty?
Doing great. Looking forward to game number 3 here. It's been a tale of 2 Gallios thus far through this match. Each team getting the win with the Gallio on their side. But now neither team can run the Gallio. So it's going to be something completely different here for game number 3. And I'm really excited to see what these teams are going to pull out and who's going to get the edge in this best of 3 matchup.
Absolutely. Gallios seem to have a pretty good win rate if somebody's keeping track for its entire tournament so far. I think close to 100%, if not 100%. This is what I mentioned in my stream personally all the time. Galio is more of a 5-on-5 team, a character. If you play solo with Galio, he has problem carrying the team, you know, because his ultimate is more helping the team. For a team is not really doing anything.
You want to be coordinated.
Exactly. What's going to do with that? But for more about that, we're going to get you the third game first to find out who's going to take the win tonight for the match 1 between KND and Mayhem. Welcome to the third game ban pick. We have KND with first pick, first ban this game.
KND gonna be banning away the Ziggs. You know, they got to play it in game 2, or sorry, in game 1. I believe those game numbers are swapped, but they got to play the Ziggs earlier, and now they've banned it away so that their opponents cannot pick this one up, despite not having played it in the first 2 games. So smart decision there from KND, denying that very strong champion. Braum getting banned. I think Braum is 100% ban rate at this point throughout Mobile Mayhem. But then Fiora getting first picked, the Garen Wukong from Mayhem. We saw this comp run extremely well yesterday. If they get the Kennen to pair with it, it can be absolutely devastating.
Yeah, and Suki is a really good cannon. Remember, like yesterday when we get to the game 3, I was like, okay, I wonder what the other one trick for Suki was. You know, we know the Galio, and then they pulled out the cannon that stunned everybody. The coordination, the engages are just scary. And are we going to see the same thing come in this game? Kaisa is available, and sure enough, it will be taken out by Team Mayhem. Or at least they're hovering over it. For Team KND, we're going to have Twisted Fate, as well as Alistar. Some standard pick, but so far we haven't seen the pattern of exactly where they want to go here. Fiora is a really good pick. Good job denying the enemy team from one of the tier S Baron laners. But Garen, remember, is really, really strong at the same time.
They're also hovering the Orianna here, so it would be a little bit of a deviation from their extremely strong game-winning comp yesterday, but they are going to be going ahead and locking in the Orianna and the Kaisa. So no Kennen likely to be picked up, as they still do need a support, unless they decide to flex like the Orianna into the support role, which I don't think would be the greatest of decisions. It's not the worst thing in the world, but there are just so many better options there. Obviously, again, they have to pick something that's not the only real dedicated support that is off the table for them is the I guess the Seraphine, the Rakan, and the Braum are the only ones that are gone for them. So they still have things like the Alistar could still get picked up in that support role. Actually, excuse me, Alistar's picked by KND, so never mind that one. I'm just only looking at one side of my screen.
Leona is available if that's what you want, but I don't think it's
Leona, Malphite, support Malphite. I've definitely seen be able to do some things. You've got the Janna. The Soraka is not really that strong. You don't really see anyone using the Lulu or the Sona in competitive, but we are going to be seeing J4 along with the Ashe.
Wow, I was almost about to say.
Our reaction says all you need to know about the J4 pick.
Yeah, well, that was mainly for the Ashe. To be honest, I was about to squeeze out the word CRINGE, but I didn't do it. I remember this is not a ranked game, so people must have done it for a reason. At the same time, remember Ashe can be a really good support pick. At the same time, it's not a traditional ADC, just full-on ADC. It can go many ways, but this game is going to be played as an AD carry. So Ashe and Alistar, they're not going to have that much damage.
Yeah, it's Ashe is definitely one of those characters that
Oh, they actually did pick Tristana, so it's a little mistake, I think.
Oh, okay. So it's just a client bug.
Yeah, client bug. Yeah.
Okay. Whew. We can breathe a little bit easier. Ashe is just one of those champions that just she's just not in a good spot right now in Wild Rift. Like, we'll just be completely honest. Definitely needs a little bit of love from the dev team to get into a point where she can feel, you know, competitive at the higher levels of Wild Rift. But yeah, Tristana makes a lot more sense. But this is still a very kind of all over the place comp for the side of KND with J4, Tristana, Twisted Fate, Alistar, and Fiora. Like, there's a lot of split push. There's a lot of roaming, but that's really about it. There's not a whole lot of, you know, strong team fight potential that I see from this team. Yeah, they're missing a lot of damage early game. Tristana did get a decent buffs patch after patch, so the Tristana Alistar combo, we've seen it just in a game of 1. It can be really, really scary. Still, it's still lacking decent amount of damage, especially compared to Kai'Sa. You have Orianna with a lot of poke, and you have quite a bit of engage from the Malphite, from the Wukong together, and Garen does true damage. So overall, Mayhem's composition just offers a lot more damage from the get-go. And then Twisted Fate is more of a skilling late game mage as well. So overall, I gotta say, I gotta give my vote of confidence to Mayhem in this game of ban pick. Yeah, and I mean, maybe they did want the Kai'Sa, but it got picked before they got to it, but they could have picked the Alistar much later. They could have just waited on the Alistar pick, grabbed the Kai'Sa early on. But again, we've seen teams, they're comfortable with the Tristana. The Tristana's been winning games. So, you know, maybe it's not as far off from those top 2 carries of the Kai'Sa and Xayah as we think it is. And it's, you know, starting to close that gap a little bit. But we're going to find out here in game number 3. We'll see which of these 2 teams is going to be leaving today with 2 points and who's going to get the lonely 1. Lonely 1. All he needs is find another 1, and then you got a 2. What a romantic story. But before we continue on the story, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to drop the like, drop the follow, drop the subscribe, and follow Taste the Bacon on social media, on Twitter, as well as Mobile Mayhem and Amplified on Twitter, as well as different social medias to follow the tournament. The grand finals will be streamed on Trovo.live exclusively. So if you haven't gone to Trovo.live, this is your chance to go to Trovo and watch a stream over there. We'll watch some 1080p high quality stream. Without further ado, let's quickly jump to game 3 to find out who shall win the victory tonight. And this point is extremely important for KND, as they had to forfeit yesterday's game. So they are coming into today with a 0 next to their name in the standings. So getting 2 points here will go a long way in helping to try and make some sort of run. And there's only 3 weeks. There's not a whole lot of time to make a run. If you fall early, you're going to have to really put in the work in order to get yourself into the playoffs. No, absolutely. Mayhem is not just here to give you a point for free. You know, rest assured, Mayhem is going to give you a run for the money. Team Mayhem is one of the top tier teams in North America, one of the true contestants that have a chance to go to Worlds. So they are not just going to give up everything just because, you know, we're in the esports arena, ladies and gentlemen. We're not doing charity here for Team KND. Still, well, they're hoping that Mayhem will be a little bit of a charity for them, as they would like to get themselves this second point, get this victory in the best of 3 matchup. But early on, pretty passive start. No shenanigans happening early on. The jungle was pretty standard. Yep. We did see J4 clearing a little bit quicker than Wukong here in the early goings, as they both clear out the wolves along with both of their buffs. But J4 already done with his second buff and moved on to the Scuttle Crab, whereas Wukong is about halfway done with his side. Bottom side, we do have that little bit of an engage. Nimble is going to be having to jump away and grab the honey fruit here early goings, and right as the jungler is going to be ready to make a gank bot lane, that is not when you want to be having to use that honey fruit. So could be a potential opportunity for the side of Mayhem if they do play this bottom side a little bit more passively. But right now they're pushing up pretty far. It's not really going to be too much of a threat of a gank for the side of KND. I mean, still pretty peaceful game, pretty even game so far. It's the 1-1 Scholar. I always like to use this as the metric of who actually win the early game, and then how many Scholars each team received. You know, it's a 0-2 or it's a 1-1. If it's a 1-1, it's usually pretty even game, because you're not gonna have any like exceptional experience or goal lead to one side. Oh, top side! Speaking of jungle, speaking of junglers making an impact, Sparkle able to get in there. They dive the Garen and get the first blood And that's huge because this is a matchup that Fiora already wins.
Yeah.
Fiora just beats Garen in the 1-to-1 matchup generally. And so the fact that they were able to get that dive, get that first blood, a little bit of extra gold onto the side of KND, that's going to make this lane that much more difficult for Garen to come back from.
And on top of it, Garen died to a tower dive. That's one of the worst because he lost so much minion experience in gold. That's like super crucial in early game. If you look at the gold and experience right now, Fiora is a half level ahead on her way to level 6, and the minion waves is to Fiora's favor. So if they keep on pushing, Fiora's going to put Garen to a corner where Garen just cannot come out to the lane anymore.
Yeah, Fiora can just play this lane very slow, nice slow push, get the poke on Garen whenever possible. But yeah, like you said, this wave is going to push her direction. Garen has to play so far back, especially without having any vision on this top side, doesn't know where the Jarvan is, and is going to find out pretty shortly, potentially, that Jarvan is on the bottom side. No, they don't go for a gank down there. So yeah, Garen is playing blind. He finally gets a ward down in the tri-brush, but he still is going to have to be so cautious of a repeat gank.
Yep, and then I like the recall coming out from Mayhem actually this game. They recalled on time and make sure they reset before the next dragon. You want to make sure you reset before the wave because 5 seconds to the dragon, a nice word from Nimble Wall Rift, but remember, he hasn't gone back. He went back one time. He has decent items actually. My mistake. So he actually has a long sword. He has a decent amount of damage to the first dragon fight. Both teams are actually set up and ready to go. Twisted Fate also have a one item completely finished. So it's all comes down to the execution now.
Yeah, TF has the item complete, but also has the teleport too. So he can stay in lane a little bit longer on this rotation if he wants to burn the ultimate there, or just try and push this wave in and get the advantage on the Orianna. But right now, neither team hard committing for this dragon just yet. And this is just continue to be advantage to the side of KND. The longer this gets stalled out, the longer this Fiora is able to bully around the Garen and continue to build that lead. She has almost 1,000 gold lead on Garen now with just the one assist. Because Garen's on his own right now. He knows the entire team on both sides is at the bottom, but there's going to be the Alistar going in. Jarvan jumps in, captures multiple members, but he's not going to have the follow-up. There's a huge shockwave pulling everybody in. Somehow no one has died. Finally, Twisted Fate will be the first to fall. And there's still going to be Sparkle trying to make something happen. Alistar goes back and Garen gets himself into the mix as well. But here comes Fiora just cleaning up, finding 2 kills for herself. But Soju Rain, he's also got a double kill in that fight. So this ends up being advantage Mayhem as they clear out the members of KND. They don't actually go for the dragon yet, so they're going to have to recall and try and reset.
Fiora came for the cleanup, but what a great team fight. Coming from Team Mayhem right there with the Death Ball, the Malphite ult on top of Orianna. That's the synergy they're looking to go for. At the same time, Alistar, Sparkle with a 4-man ultimate. That was insane. Now, I think that's the first time I've seen a 4-man ult coming from a J4.
Yeah, that was J4 able to lock up that many members. It just kept the fight so condensed. And then, like you said, the Orianna ultimate just coming through and cleaning house really set things in motion for Mayhem. Fiora was able to come in and clean up once all was said and done, but it just kind of set things to pretty much even instead of giving an advantage one way or the other. So it was extremely important for Fiora to be able to get that, because otherwise it would have been very lopsided in the favor of Mayhem. And yeah, this is a game that KND, they're gonna have to play through this Fiora very hard, because if this Fiora does not continue to just get kill after kill and be just a split pushing menace, I don't know if they're going to have a way into this game otherwise.
Yeah, Fiora is definitely snowballed 201, 5,600 gold, already 2,000 gold ahead of her lane opponent. And she's now having the free roam. She can actually cut the lane and completely dominate the lane and rotate to Dragon if she wants to. She's dealing jungle now in the lane, so you're absolutely right. Fiora is going to scale to a late game monster, and that's exactly what KND wanted to do. They want to scale, so they're dragging the game out. A little bit of death early game is fine, but the total gold is completely even on both sides, except with a really fat and really scary Fiora still scaling on the top side.
Keep in mind, neither team did get that first dragon, so now Mayhem are starting it up, but there is some knowledge of this from the side of KND. Still a one-on-one with Fiora and Garen in the top side. That's going relatively even for now, but the Dragon is going down very low. It's not going to be able to get in there in time for Sparkle, so Dragon goes the way of Mayhem. Now they're looking to re-engage. That's going to be the big Malphite ultimate, but can they follow up on it? They do lose one, but the big Shockwave pulls in 3, and now Kai'Sa is on the back line, just chunking out damage. Not going to be able to get through that Alistar ultimate, but it does end up being a 2-for-2 kill trade with Mayhem getting the Dragon.
Whew, mobile Team Mayhem come pulling up. They're still in the game. They're telling me, yeah, you have a Fiora, but if we continue to have the Kai'Sa scaling up, Soldier Rain's gonna be a late game monster as well, and you cannot. Ooh, look at the damage.
Yeah, big damage being dished out there, but meanwhile, down here in the bottom side, it's the double kill for Kai'Sa. Is going to end up falling to the Twisted Fate, but up on the top side as well, these two have just been skirmishing back and forth constantly, but yeah, Kai'Sa starting to become a very, very strong champion with 6 kills now to his name. Soju Rain starting to really kind of make a name for himself on this team. It's, you know, Soju and Suki both have been playing phenomenally through these past 2 days.
Yep, Kodo once again with Suki. The mid jungle synergy is really, really good, as we pointed out many times now from Team Mayhem. They're able to get objectives. They're always roaming together. I feel like they're a 2-man unit with the support, obviously, and the stars on the team. Always gonna be that Suki and Soju Rain. They have been popping off over and over again on the respective roles that they play, on the respective champions that they play. The Kai'Sa is sitting at 6-1-1 right now with 8,500 gold compared to 7,400 gold. Tristana completely on her own. Actually, Soldier Rain was doing a lot of really good damage on the side of the team fight. The position is on point. So, I mean, if Soldier Rain continues to scale, it might be even scarier than a Fiora late game, to be honest, on Kai'Sa.
Yeah, it very well could be, especially because of the fact that Kai'Sa with that ultimate can just dash around and avoid the Fiora. You know, if Fiora gets onto the Kai'Sa, she can just use that dash to get onto the other side of the team fight, and all of a sudden Fiora isn't going to be able to try and shut her down. So someone else is going to have to be able to deal with this Kai'Sa. And right now, I'm not sure who that's going to be. You know, obviously, you have the stun that can come out from Twisted Fate, but that's really about it as far as someone who might be able to, you know, potentially deal with her. And I don't know if that's going to be enough, especially Kai'Sa could just go for the QSS as the boots and just completely negate that stun altogether.
Yeah, Kai'Sa right now have the lifesteal boots. I mean, to be honest, if I was Kai'Sa, I would have gone for the Mercury Treads for the resistance, you know, because you do have Tri-Feed on the Twisted Fate. At the same time, you're absolutely right. If you just go QSS, it actually doesn't really matter what kind of boots you go for, right? You can just nullify the stun completely. So, and sure enough, he still keep on to the tier 2 boots. And meanwhile, getting close to the third fully built item. Mid tower is going to be the next objective for Team Mayhem right here.
Yeah, and they're just going to brute force this one down with the Rift Herald. That's going to be Alistar dropping extremely low. They go in on it. They get the knockup as well on the Tri-Feed. Tri-Feed is down, and it's going to be a big advantage to the side of Mayhem. Fiora is lurking, but needs to be careful. That's a 1 versus 4. You don't want to be going into that situation. Uses the riposte to survive a little bit longer. J4 locks them in under the turret, but who's locked in with who as they are getting melted? The Guardian Angel is popped for Jarvan, but it's going to be a second turret now falling for the side of Mayhem as they are looking dominant here in Game 3.
Dominant they are. Once again, Soldier Rain popping off with the Kai'Sa. You can see he actually used the ultimate to jump behind the turret. Let's see if we can get a replay over here. That team fight, they know they got the tower. They should have for Team KND, they shouldn't have defended tier 1 with not, you know, with insufficient members. And on top of it, they just kept on going, get a few kills. Fiora came late, still remain in the same position, getting caught off, so losing more members. Once again, great plays coming out from Soldier Rain. Great positioning on ADC, able to find as much damage as possibly can, and that's one of the most important characters for ADC player. Here it comes once again.
J4 tries to get in for the steal, does not get the steal. Desperation play, it feels like at that point, where you're just trying, obviously he's the only one going in, so they know they're not risking too much, but it's, hey, if we can get the steal, great, but if not, we know we're sacrificing our jungler to try and get the steal. But with no jungler, Mayhem, they're an objective-focused team. They go right to the Baron here, Dave. and it's going to be a free Baron pickup. The only thing that is going to slow this is the fact that Twisted Fate is in the bottom lane, and now the team, they're just branching off. They're saying, hey, you guys got that Baron, right? We're just going to go push away this Fiora, make sure she doesn't get pushed up too far. And yeah, Baron secured, no contest, and this is just advantage after advantage for Mayhem.
Well, you gotta feel bad for Kodo on the Wukong just there. I just want to point it out. There are 3 wards in this one bush. I mean, and the 3 people on the just show you how much synergy the team had. I mean, not in a good way in this particular bush, but still, everybody was on the same. At the same place mentally, they're thinking about the same thing, and they were in the same place. So I just want to point it out. At the same time, Wukong, you gotta feel bad. Everybody left, and he was doing the Baron all by himself. So I feel very lonely for a second.
At the same time, though, it feels pretty good to know that your team is confident in you to be able to deal with the Baron by yourself, and they know you're not going to get it stolen away. But yeah, it's going to be Alistar once again, before he's even able to do anything, just dropped so incredibly low with this Baron buff. Jarvan's going in, but he's pretty much by himself. Malphite gets the double ultimate. Tristana is extremely low as well. She's going to fall as Tyson pops in, and now they're just melting everyone else down. Alistar gets the ultimate off to stay alive for a long time, but the rest of his team is not going to be able to do much. There's Fiora, finds one, is looking for Suki, but Suki just flashes to the other side of the Nexus, does end up falling, as Fiora is going to save the Nexus and keep this game going at least a little bit longer.
Whew. I mean, they had a win once again. I want to point out, Sojourn had for a longer time, he had a really good position in that team fight. If you take a look at the replay right now, great engage, great synergy from the Malphite and the Orianna Deathball combo, like Malphite all Orianna all on top of it. That's so deadly. Doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna die at this point of the game. And then Kai'Sa is able to go in and find many kills. Despite Alistar's best attempt, he's still able to walk away, but Fiora is just too strong. Fiora is probably the only person who can kill this Kai'Sa at this point. Given if Fiora can reach this Kai'Sa, at a good position, like Tasty was pointed out, Kai'Sa can just reposition with the ultimate to completely get away from Fiora, and then Fiora will just put herself in a really awkward position without a targeted hit.
And right now, Fiora is, like I said, it's really the only saving grace for the side of KND at the moment. 9-15, and the Kai'Sa has 11 of those 15 kills. Absolute monster on this Kai'Sa. Is now 4 items completed and is starting on that 5th. Has the QSS as well, so is going to be able to cleanse any crowd control that comes through. If Twisted Fate saves a gold card for her, she's just going to pop those boots and just clear it off and not have any worries.
To be honest, I don't even think he needed that QSS, because Twisted Fate rarely actually get close to Kai'Sa, and because how many peels that Kai'Sa has. And then if you think on top of it, there are other knockups, other quad controllers, Alistar, J4, they're all knockups, and the QSS doesn't work on knockups. So if you...
It's also, the only other use of it is the Fiora, if she gets the riposte and someone else triggers the riposte stun, then you can get it there, but I think that's
so rare.
Yeah. I still think it's good. It's worth it to grab just for the Twisted Fate, because if he does happen to get a gold card on you, that's your entire damage source for this team just gone. So I do still agree with picking up the QSS there, especially when you have this much money. You're so far ahead. You might as well just grab it. But this is going to be Dragon number 3 getting secured for the side of Mayhem as they just continue to get further and further ahead. Baron is available. Fiora is just trying to split push, trying to put pressure on this map as best she can, but is going to be having to reset as Mayhem is moving towards this Baron. They check for vision. There is no vision for the side of KND, and Mayhem, are they just going to wait for their opponents to come to them, or are they going to start this one up? Looks like right now they're choosing to just wait.
Yeah, it feels deja vu at this point, to be honest. Like, it's very similar to last game, where Mayhem got 3 dragons completely, and then they're gonna get if they get a Baron before Elder, it's game over. It's almost the exact same thing as last game. They're gonna secure the Scalar for sure. It's all come down to this team fight. You cannot give this Baron away just completely for free, but they have to find a way to contest this. Fiora is teleporting.
She's teleporting to the backside, but the fight is already starting before she even gets there. Suki is going to look for this big shockwave, but the lots of knockups from the Wukong. They're trying to just get the damage onto the backlines, but Kaisa is deep into the enemy territory, finding double kills, and there's just no chance for KND. Kaisa was basically isolated on their backlines, but they just couldn't do anything about it as she just melted the two members down from the side of KND, and now no Baron, no problem. This is going to be a push for the game. There are still 3 members here from the side of KND to try and stop this, but it's not going to be enough, and Mayhem takes down KND 2-1.
Wow, it might be a little bit of rocky road getting to this point, but Mayhem's showing us how it's done. You know, the epic comeback, giving him 1 for free and taking 2 back. We're just toying around with our food and giving him hope and telling you that what can be given can be taken back. And that's exactly what Mayhem did. Soju Rain in this game, the absolute MVP, the position. He solo, he ultimate into the back and just kind of evaporate and make this Tristana disappear. I don't know if you noticed the one skill 1 wall attack, Tristana was gone, deleted from the map, just disappeared. Let's take a look at how much damage she did. 23,000 damage, the highest in the game.
Yeah, you pretty much have to combine the two highest damages from the side of KND to meet or beat the Soju Rain in this game. Absolute menace on this Kaisa. Like you said, was just able to dive onto the back lines and secure the kills on the priority targets repeatedly. And just really strong stuff coming out from Mayhem, specifically Soju Rain this game. Tsuki had some amazing ultimates as well as Enigma. So, you know, really, again, this team is a team that plays as a squad. They win and lose as a team. Yes, Soju Rain looks like the standout carry from this game, but throughout the entire series, it was every single player having to step up and play the way that they needed to secure these victories. I really like some of the things we're seeing from Mayhem. There's a lot of positives from this team. Would like to see them get a little bit more consistency in their play, but otherwise they are looking very good.
I mean, once again, big congrats to Team Mayhem for making one more step further, getting themselves 2 more points against KND, but great debut from KND tonight, actually. This is, again, the first time we see them play. Very interesting, very good plays all around from both teams. So if KND, obviously they're already 2 big matches behind. They got a point today. If they want a chance to make it to the playoffs, they really need to step it up. But their routes going forward are not getting easier. You know, they still have a tribe they have to face. They have a lot more really difficult teams they have to go against. So, I mean, you gotta worrisome, be a little bit worrisome for their team at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they're being down. You have 6 match days basically, and now your first 2 you have 1 point total. It's not going to be a great position to be in. You're going to need a little bit of help going forward to get yourself into those playoffs, but it's not impossible, especially because of the fact that they didn't play day number 1 means that they could come out and get some 2-0s, 2-1s. At the end of the day, getting a 2-1, that looks the same for you as a 2-0 does. You still just get 2 points. But you want to get those 2-0s to deny your opponents from getting those points, especially the teams that are slightly above you in the standings. Denying them that extra point can be crucial for getting yourself into the playoffs. Yeah,
the 2-1 to 2-0, you put a nail on the head right there. The team who got the 2 doesn't really carrying a lot of sense, but still denying that 1 point away from your opponent, give yourself a better chance to make it to the playoffs. So we're gonna get to the next game. Next match, guys, is Team Young versus J4F. If you're a fan, make sure to stay around, hang out, share the stream with your friend. We're gonna go ahead and take a short break. Do not go anywhere. Get your popcorn, get your soda. Once again, we'll be right back. See you guys in a little bit.